Can you imagine what life would be like if you could never smile? If you were forced to live a life of isolation and rejection? This is a reality for 1 out of every 500 South Florida children each year. But there is hope. Facing It Together is a nonprofit foundation dedicated to improving the lives of children and adults with craniofacial differences.
Facing It Together is a foundation that actually has 4 main missions, all related to the treatment of kids and their families who are suffering with craniofacial disorders. The first way is we take care of their medical needs, whether it's paying for surgery or helping them meet their co-pays for their insurance if they can't cover it, buying a special set of eyeglasses, buying hearing aids for them, covering their dental work. If if a kid has a cleft lip and palate, they are missing teeth and their teeth are malaligned, and it's very expensive to get specialized dental care to get extra teeth put back in, or specialized orthodontics will step in and help them there. We also cover families from a family support aspect. We try to build a community of families that can reach out to other families in need and explain to them that, hey, you know what, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a way to get through this. The third thing we do is research. We're proud to say that we are conducting cutting-edge research both at a basic science level and at a clinical level to improve the outcomes in patients with craniofacial problems. The fourth thing that we do is we raise money for an endowment, with the final goal that we'd have an endowment that 10 or 15 years down the road will sustain the organization for here on out.
Providing help and hope to those in need, Facing It Together is making a real difference for children, adults, and families in South Florida.
We have some amazing kids and amazing families who just have so much life in them and so much to look forward to, and we are able to reach out in a real way that we can see and feel and touch and have a huge impact in the lives of these children.
Hunter was born in November of 1994. When she was born, it was kind of a shock, and I didn't quite know how to handle it. At this point, Hunter's had 14 surgeries, and that was one step in a long road that we had. It was very hard because she wanted to be like every other kid. About 3 or 4 years ago, when she first started losing her teeth, we noticed that there was no secondary teeth coming in once the primary teeth were falling out. She started losing the teeth, and she started losing her self-confidence. Hunter was always lit up a room when she came in, and she was always a happy child. But she never really smiled. She never really gave us that big grin. And once they started fixing the problem with the prosthetics, they brought a smile to her face. She became a whole different person. Her schooling was different. Her whole outlook on things has been different since this, just because she feels normal now. Facing It Together has made it so possible for her to even smile, let alone just everything. It's changed everything. She's become back to being this bright, bouncing little girl who, lit up the room. Without Facing It Together, we couldn't do it. Hunter would be, lost.
Facing It Together is also helping children through its Craniofacial Dental Center at Nova Southeastern University, and is actively supporting craniofacial research through an additional partnership with Nova.
Our partnership with Nova Southeastern University and Facing It Together was instrumental in starting our nasoalveolar molding clinic. And the clinic is really so important on multiple levels. And one of the main reasons is to enhance our patient's surgical outcome. The process really does a great job of putting the normal anatomy back into place and enabling us to give a better surgical repair and a better aesthetic outcome for our patients, as well as a better functional outcome and putting things into a much more normal position. Part of our charge with Facing It Together is to have a research component to the organization. And the research lab does regular bench research with a full-time PhD to work towards enhancing patients' ultimate outcomes, whether that be before the disease ever occurs and for trying to prevent disease such as cleft lip and palate, or to try to work towards scarless wound healing, which is one of the projects that we're currently working at. Imagine if we could do surgery and have no scar after surgery, our patients would ultimately have a much better outcome. And that's one of the efforts we've been steadily working on to achieve.
Salvatore is an in vitro baby. He had a little pinhole in his forehead, which caused a centerline defect and caused his eye to be pushed over to the side, and he had no bone in his nose and was born with skin tags.
Something just didn't click right when he was in the womb, and it just happened. But what we go through is nothing compared to what he goes through. So he's a tough little guy, so he's handling it.
Facing It Together has helped us with our medications for Sal. When we were in the hospital, he developed the infection, and we couldn't afford to pay for the majority of the medicine. And they went ahead and they paid for all of his medications and the nurse's visits also.
We were brought to light with Facing It Together through Dr. Stelnicki, and when he stepped up and came in and told us how much these medications actually were, you know, it was staggering. And Dr. Stelnicki stepped in and assured us that Facing It Together was going to help us with the medication. One less thing to worry about.
Michael was born in Chile, and doctors immediately noticed his disfigured nose and eyes. After performing one unsuccessful operation, doctors said there were no other options for him. So Michael and his family moved to South Florida in search of a solution.
Dr. Stelnicki, he said he can do it. And cry. When he say he has a foundation, I can't believe it. My husband too, because it's too expensive. The operation for him is too expensive.
An 8-hour surgery performed by Dr. Stelnicki at Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital moved a piece of bone from Michael's skull and used it to create a nose. In the end, Michael's eyesight and breathing improved, and he can now smile and breathe with ease.
It's like a miracle for us, because when I look him, I know he's happy now. With Foundation change our life.
These are just a few of the smiles Facing It Together has achieved. There are so many others in our community that need our help, and we need yours. Help us in our mission to change lives and create smiles. Please give generously and make a difference that will last a lifetime.